Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Antoinette from Simply a Chic.
Today's video, I put together a compilation of my top 20 high-end modern DIY home decor. I thought it would be fun to put them all in one video for those of you who like to watch longer videos, to sit back, relax, and be inspired. So I hope you enjoy watching and I hope you find these ideas helpful. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comment which one's your favorite. Now let's get started. Today I am so excited to be sharing how I made this wall hanging planter using items from Dollar Tree. So I am using one of these Dollar Tree drain pan, wire basket, some different floral stems. I am not sure exactly how much I'm gonna use for this project, some Spanish moss, and floral foam. So what I'm gonna do here is placing my floral foam inside the pan and measure the height of the foam on the bottom. Then I'm gonna use this knife to cut the bottom of the pan where I highlighted. Then I turn it over and cut it again. Then I go ahead, continue cutting around all the way to where I started cutting. And once I remove that part, I go back and cut any excess to have that nice round edges. Now I am gonna take this part and attach it to the front of the planter. It's not exactly the same size, but I'm gonna play with it, cut it to the size that will cover the front side just like the back side of the planter. And I'm not gonna worry about the front if it's not even, because it's gonna be covered by the plants that will be dripping down. So I'm gonna use some E6000 and some hot glue to glue this piece in the front. Then I cut small pieces to attach to the sides. Then I hot glue the floral foam inside the planter. And once I get all that together, I am gonna set it aside and I'm gonna start working on the basket. So I'm just gonna cut the wire off from around the basket like you see me doing. Then I'm gonna stretch it out to make it look even. Then I will measure how much I need to cover the back side and then I cut it out. Then I'm gonna glue it down using again some E6000 and some hot glue. And once the glue is dry, I go ahead and cut the excess out. Then I decided to use some of this black ribbon and glue it around the edges to cover these wires and to protect the wall from any scratching that these wires can cause. Now it's time to add the flowers and the greenery, but first I am adding some Spanish moss to cover the foam. Then I add some flowers and then I go ahead and cut all the stems out, then place them in the planter. I play with them, try adding different color, different size flowers, greenery, and some of these that dripping down until I am happy with how it turned out. So excited to share with you guys how I flipped these thrifted finds to this gorgeous mirror. I love shopping at our local Goodwill only when it's half off day, so I scored everything for super cheap. And as you can see, this basket was $5, but I only paid half price. I really loved this basket and the style around it, so I thought to take it apart and make a wall art. And then I found this plate art. I really loved the rounded wood frame around it, so I thought to make a mirror. I didn't find any mirror size at Goodwill, but I thought to use one of the Dollar Tree mirror, the large size, and I am only gonna use the mirror. It is smaller than the frame, but that's okay. I will find a way to fit it in. So at first I went ahead and removed the handle of the basket. Then I removed all these arches around the basket. It took me some time to do that. And once I finished doing that, I went ahead and cleaned them all. After that, I cut a round piece of cardboard. I just traced around the Dollar Tree mirror. I needed it to be smaller than the frame that will go on top. And once I had that ready, I started placing these arches around it. I played with it until I figured the best way to attach them around the cardboard. And as you can see, I used a lot of hot glue to keep them in place. And it took longer to finish that because I had to be patient, hold each piece until it sticks down. And once I finished the first round, I started with the second one. Again, I had to be super patient. I trimmed the ends a little bit, then I hot glued them under the ones on the first round. And once I finished the second round, here how it looked. Then I put it on the side and I started working on the mirror. So to fit the mirror inside, I took the original plate and traced around it on the cardboard. Then I cut it out. Then I hot glued it inside the wood frame. Then I placed the mirror on the top of it. And then to cover the empty space in between the mirror and the frame, I decided to add some of this rope around it. So I went ahead and hot glued the mirror first, then hot glue the rope around like you see me doing. Now it's time to hot glue the mirror frame on top right here. Then I decided to add few more sticks in between these arches to give it more character. Lastly, I decided to use some brown paint to cover some of the blue that was showing, and then I painted these ends that were showing from inside right here. Also, I dry brushed some brown paint on the frame as well to give it that matching look. For the second project, I flipped these Goodwill finds to this super cute framed planter. Again, everything I got was half off. This canvas I only paid $1. And these cute bottles, I had no idea what they were for or what they call them. I just loved the shape and the fact that they were clear glass. So at first, I removed all the staples from the back of the canvas. Then I used some acrylic brown paint and I mixed it with some cashmere paint to paint the whole frame. And once the frame was dry, I made 3 holes inside like this. Then I screwed these in there so I can hang my planters on. Then I cut some jute twine and I hot glued it around the neck of the bottles. And once I finished all 3, I hung them inside the frame. Then I added some greenery. I am so loving these trash to treasure projects. It's making me think outside of the box and get extra creative and come up with some beautiful home decor ideas. If you want to see how I made this ladder, keep on watching. I have this wine rack that I got from Goodwill a while ago. I thought to give it some makeover job and I had it sitting in my garage. It was $4, but I only paid $2 when everything in the store was 50% off. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this wine rack apart. Now here I have all the parts and I'm gonna go ahead and sand them a little bit with this sandpaper. Then I'm gonna wipe all the dust and set them aside. After, I go ahead and paint everything with this Rust-Oleum white chalk that I got from Home Depot. And as you can see, I am painting lightly, trying not to cover completely the whole thing because I still want some of that brown color to show underneath the white. And when everything is dry, I'm gonna go ahead again and sand everything lightly to give it that distressing farmhouse look. Do you see here how the edges are coming out? I really love this look. Now it's time to assemble my ladder. So what I'm gonna do first here is I am attaching each two parts together, and as you can see, they come in two different sizes. Half of them are lightly thinner than the other half. So I'm gonna go ahead, use some hot glue and attach first the thinner ones together like this, and then do the same thing on the other ones as well. Then I added some popsicle sticks at the back for extra security. And because this ladder is big and it's hard to show it on the camera, I decided to glue each part on its own. And when everything is dry, I attach the two parts together like this. I leave it here for some time until the glue is dry and it's settled. Then here's the finished look. I mean, it's not perfect, but I really love how it turned out. And with some decor items that I had around the house, I think this ladder came out absolutely beautiful. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? I'm gonna make two artichoke sculpture, and here what I will be using. These candle holders that I thrifted, two styrofoam bowls from Dollar Tree, these plastic spoons from Dollar Tree as well, and I will be only using 62 of them. And of course, I'm gonna use some hot glue, and again I am using this awesome glue gun that I received from Chandler Tools. I will link it below in case you are interested. Also, I have this candle holder and I am gonna attach it to this one to give it some height, but first I will spray paint it in white. So first thing, I'm gonna cut the spoon off the handle, and the best way to cut the spoon is to hold the spoon in your left hand and keep the handle to the right. For some reason, this helps to prevent the spoon from cracking or flying into your face. I am right-handed, so reverse this if you are a left-handed person. And once I am done cutting them, I save the handles to use in another project. Then I bring the ball and place it on the candle holder, and I am gonna go ahead and hot glue the spoons all around the top here. Then move down using some hot glue and keep the spoons facing the ball position like this. And when I get to the bottom, I turn it upside down like this and continue attaching the spoons to the bottom as well. Once I am done gluing the spoons, I flip it back and hear how it looks. Then I add some hot glue to the candle holder and place the artichoke on top of it. I allow that to dry, then I move to the next one, which I will repeat the same thing, but this time I will make it look a little bit taller by adding this candle holder like I mentioned in the beginning to add some extra height. Then I will glue the second artichoke on top of it like this. And here how they came out. Now I am gonna take them outside and spray paint them in white. Feel free to spray paint your artichoke the color of your choice or just leave them as is. Also, I decided to dry brush some of the gold acrylic paint over the leaves to give it some texture. And here's the finished look. I absolutely love how they came out. I think they look super chic. So I found my inspiration in Pinterest at Macy's.com, and the ones at Macy's were super pricey. As you can see here, the price was a little bit over $380, and I recreated mine for under $10. Now let me show you how easy and affordable this project was. And here I am showing you what I needed for each candle holder to make. So I picked up 6 of the small size hula hoops from Dollar Tree, this black spray paint that I already had, and this LED pillar candle from Dollar Tree as well. And I had 3 of these can lids that I repurposed from old projects. And of course I need some hot glue. So I'm gonna start off with removing the sticker wrap that is around all the hula hoops. They come off very easy. You just need to find the first piece to start peeling. And once all the wrap is off, then I open each hoop and remove the beads inside. Now for the larger hoops, I cut about 1/4 off, and I am using the scissors here. It does the job perfectly, so use whatever you need to use. Then I interlock the hoop back together. Be careful with bending. Feel free to use some hot glue for extra security. And here I am trying to see how I will assemble them before painting them. Once I finish the 2 hoops that are same size for the large candle holder, I go ahead and do the same thing on the medium ones and small ones. And as I was cutting these hoops to the desired sizes, I noticed that it was easier to interlock the larger ones together. Then the medium ones were okay, but the smaller ones was really hard to interlock them together. So be extra careful not to cut too small. I really wanted the small candle holder to look much smaller than what I ended up with, but as I said, it was really hard to bend the hoop. As you see here, I was being extra careful. And once it's interlocked, make sure to use some kind of hot glue or E6000 for extra security. At first I didn't use any, and one of them just popped, so I went back and added some hot glue to all. And here I have all 6 of them ready to be assembled. At this point, you might need someone to help you hold while you are gluing them together. I did it on my own, but I struggled a little. So at first, I started gluing the lid at the bottom between the 2 hoops. And once that was secured, I add some E6000 to the inside of the two hoops here where they connected. I also added some hot glue as well, and I hold for a few seconds. I did same thing with the rest until all three were ready to be painted. Now I took them outside and I will spray paint them with this Rust-Oleum black paint, but you could spray paint any color of your choice. Once they are dry, I will go ahead and add the LED pillar candle. I don't recommend using real candles with real flames because these loops are made of plastic and it will cause a fire. So pillar candles or battery operated candles would work perfectly. Here's the finished look of my curved candle holders. I absolutely love how beautiful they came out. I mean, they don't look perfect as the original ones, but with $10 worth, I think they look so cute. And I am so proud that I was able to recreate mine for less than $10 comparing to the ones at Macy's for $380. I found my inspiration on Pinterest at Macy's.com, and the price for the set of two was $458, but I made mine with less than that, which mine cost about $5. Here is everything that I will need for this project. I picked up 2 of these science frames from Dollar Tree, 1 pack of 12 of these giant barbecue skewers from Dollar Tree as well, some toothpicks, 2 of these small styrofoam balls, some gold acrylic paint, some black spray paint, E6000 and hot glue, and some of these pearl stickers. I also used some of the foam board. So at first I'm gonna go ahead and create this dandelion flower. So I am using some toothpicks and I will cut the pointy end of one side of the pick like this and leave the other end to stick into the styrofoam ball. And why I'm doing that is because I wanted to stick one of these pearls to each end of the picks that is sticking out. So here is the easiest way I figured out how to do that. I cut the sheet like this. Then I take some E6000. Then I dip the one end of the toothpick that I already cut in the glue and peel the pearl off with the pointy end of the pick. Then I stick the pearl to the glued end like you see me doing here. It will take some time to do this. I mean, you don't have to do it. You could totally skip this step and leave the ends pointy as is, or you can use anything that has the same shape like Christmas ornaments, something like this star ornament or this one, or even this from Dollar Tree. It is totally up to you how you want to make it. Once I was done, I set them on the side and let the glue dry well. Meanwhile, I cut some foam board to make the extra sides that show on the photo. I will trace the sign on the foam board, but first I make sure I leave about 1 inch all around. Then I go ahead and cut it, which I cut 2 of these. Then I cut the piece that is in the middle as well. And this is how I am gonna place it on the top of the frame. Then I will use some hot glue and glue it in place. I added some hot glue to the bottom to reinforce it as well. Next step is cutting the skewers to the desired length, and I am making both sculptures the same length, not like the one at Macy's, one tall and one shorter. Mine are gonna look same length. So I am cutting 8 skewers 20 inches long, 4 for each one. Then I'm gonna measure the space between the corners. Lengthwise is 7 inches, crosswise is 5 inches. So I need to cut again 8 pieces 7 inches long and 8 pieces 5 inches long. Next step is assembling everything. I'm just gonna make a hole on each corner so the skewers will stick down for extra security. Then I'm gonna use a dab of E6000 and some hot glue, then stick it in the first corner like this. Next, I glue the 5-inch piece. Then I glued the second skewer on the other corner. And next I glued the 7-inch piece. Then I continued gluing until the bottom was done. Then I moved to the top and I glued all the pieces in between the skewers as you see me doing here. Once I was done with that, I went ahead and stick all the toothpicks into the ball like this. Super easy, super fun. Then I stick another skewer into the ball, and this one I cut about 15 inches long. Then I tried to see where I place it. And after that, I'm gonna make another hole in the middle like this. Then I stick it inside the hole and secure it with extra hot glue. And once that was done, I cut 2 more pieces for each sculpture, about 2 inches long, and I glue them on each side of the skewer in the middle like this. So now that I am done both my sculptures, I will take them outside and spray paint them with Rust-Oleum black spray paint. And here how they came out. I thought they looked so beautiful already. Now I'm gonna take some of this acrylic gold paint and paint all the corners inside and out. Then I move to the dandelion flower and paint on the tips like this. Then I went ahead and used the dry brush technique and brushed over the edges to give it that rustic look. And here is the finished look of my flowering dandelion sculptures. They are not perfect as the one at Macy's, but I really love how they came out. Next project, I am gonna need 2 of these foam wreaths from Dollar Tree, and what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna cut one of the rings like this. Then carefully I am gonna thread the other ring inside like you see me doing. And once they are chained, I will glue it back together with some E6000 and a dab of hot glue. Now I am gonna try this for the first time, which I am gonna add about 1 tablespoon of the baking soda and about 2 tablespoons of white chalk paint, then mix them together very well until I get this thick consistency. And once that's done, I am gonna go ahead and apply the mixture with a paintbrush to create a nice texture all over it. And here how the texture will look like. And once both rings are covered, then I'm gonna set them aside to dry. And here they are all dried. I love the texture. Now you can leave them as is or paint them however you prefer. I decided to use some of this acrylic gold from Dollar Tree and just dry brush a little bit over it just to highlight some of the texture. And that's it. I think it came out so cute. Next project is also simple. I am gonna need 1 of these placemats from Dollarama and 1 clear vase from Dollar Tree. And what I'm gonna do first is that I'm gonna remove this liner on the edges, and as you can see, it's really easy to remove it. And once that's done, I am gonna go ahead and measure how much I need to cover the vase. Then I go ahead and cut it out. And then I use some hot glue and glue it down. Next step, I will take it outside in the garage and spray paint it with this camouflage spray paint. And here's how it looks like. I added some greenery from Dollar Tree and I absolutely love how it came out. Moving to next project, I'm gonna use this wood sign that I picked up from Dollarama and these wood letters from Dollar Tree to create word home. Also, I might use some ribbons or some florals. So here I have my home letters, and what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna put the O letter on the side and paint these letters with this acrylic black paint. And while I let them dry, I go ahead and work on my O letter, which I'm gonna use some of this wire jute to create a tiny wreath. And then I'm taking some of this gorgeous ribbon that I found at Dollarama and wrap it around the wire jute like this. And once these letters are dry, I am just gonna go ahead and hot glue everything down on the sign. Then for the hanger, I thought to embellish it with some of my favorite beads that I have tons of them, and you have seen me using them in a different DIYs. So I thought they will add a perfect touch of spring. And here how cute it turned out. I love the finished look of this mini home sign, and I hope you like it too. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hop to the next person, the first link in my description box below, and keep on hopping. For this project, I was inspired by Dear Julie DIY. I will link her video down in the description box below for you to check out. Also, I will leave all the materials used for today's projects down in the description box below. So for this project, I'm gonna use 2 of these Dollar Tree garden fences, and I'm gonna need to cut 5 of these sections. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting these sections right here. And here is the first one. Now I'm gonna continue cutting the other 4 sections as well. And once I have all 5, I am gonna lay them out like this so I can glue them together. And once I glue them together, here how it's coming out. Now I'm gonna turn it over and use some of these small sections of the leftover pieces and use some hot glue to reinforce the sections. I also decided to add some leftover pieces here in the middle to fill the area. Now for the embellishments, I decided to use these tulips that I had around and hot glue them in the middle right here. And then I play with it, add more until I get the look that I love. And here is the final look. I absolutely love it, and hopefully you will like it too. For this project, I'm gonna use one of these Dollar Tree garden fence and one Dollar Tree sign that I had from fall. So at first, I'm gonna go ahead and cut all the extra pieces at the edges. Then I'm gonna cut it to 4 sections like this. And once I have all 4 sections ready, I'm just gonna go back and cut any excess, try to smooth the edges a little bit. Now I bring this sign and I am gonna try to arrange them inside to see how I am gonna fit them inside. And as you can see, they don't fit nicely, so I am gonna go ahead and trim the extra on the corner right here and do same thing on all 4. Now in the inspiration project, Camera painted everything, but mine I'm keeping it black, so I am gonna go ahead and paint this base in this acrylic black paint from Dollar Tree. And once it's dry, I am gonna hot glue these sections inside like this. And after I glue everything together, I come back with some black paint and brush over any glue that is showing. Now I'm gonna add this pillar candle and some greenery that I had around, and it looks so beautiful. So So for this project, I'm gonna use 2 of these Dollar Tree garden fences and 1 Dollar Tree mirror. And what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna cut these rounded shapes. So I'm gonna start right here and then cut around like this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the rest same way, which I will need to cut 8 of them for the size of my mirror. And once I have all the sections ready, I am gonna use this Lazy Susan tray and lay everything on the tray, starting with the mirror in the middle, and I cover it with this paper, and then I arrange all the pieces around the mirror. I trim any excess. And once I like everything, I go ahead and hot glue each section to the mirror. And then I turn it over and reinforce it with some hot glue. And then I take some leftover pieces and cut small sections like this. Then I add some hot glue to each 2 sections, then glue this piece on top to reinforce it. I continue doing that to all the sides. And once the glue is dry, I turn it over again, and if there is any glue showing, I brush some black over it like this. Now to hide any imperfections around the mirror, you can add a rope around it or some beads of your choice. I decided to add these black beads that I had around. They were purple, but I painted them with this acrylic black paint. Now I'm gonna go ahead and glue them around the mirror like this. And here's how it turned out. I absolutely love it. Bead wall hanging, I am using 2 of these big dowels and 2 of the smaller ones. So at first I am gonna hot glue these 2 together right here, and then I am gonna hot glue 1 of the smaller ones on each side like you see me doing. Then I take some floral wire and I wrap it around for extra security. I will leave all the materials that I am using for today's project down in the description box below. And once I have everything secured and sturdy, I work on my beads. I already went ahead and took some of these Dollar Tree necklaces, which I painted the green one with a mix of some acrylic brown and some cashmere paint, and I painted the pink necklace with some acrylic cashmere paint. Also, I am using some of my favorite beads that I had around for a long time. Now that I have my beads ready, I am gonna go ahead and hot glue them on the rod. Next, I am gonna add some greenery and a few flowers. I am gonna play with it using floral wire to secure everything together. And here is the finished look. I absolutely love it, and I hope that you will like it too. for this house number planter box, I am using this Dollar Tree Christmas sign, these numbers also from Dollar Tree, some planks, some flowers, a floral foam, and some paint. So at first I am gonna create a box using these Dollar Tree planks. So I am gonna measure to see how big I need my box to be, which I wanted it to be exactly as wide as the sign. And then I'm gonna cut it like you see me doing here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 more same size. And when I have all 3 ready, I go ahead and glue them together using some E6000 and some hot glue. And once that's done, I take another plank and I measure for each end, then I cut them and glue them down. Next step, I paint the sign and the box with some acrylic black paint. I also painted these numbers with some chalked white paint. And once everything is dry, I go ahead and hot glue the numbers down on the sign. After I was done with that, I glue the box under the sign using some E6000 and some hot glue. And to reinforce that, I took some craft sticks and hot glue them at the back. Then I add some floral foam inside the box, then top it with some green moss. Lastly, I add some greenery and some flowers from Dollar Tree, and at the end I decided to add few butterfly stickers and a wood sign, and I thought it turned out so adorable. So for this project here, what I use, I picked up this cute candle holder at Goodwill and I only paid half of the price. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna ask my husband to cut these wire stems for me. Also, I picked up this wall frame art and I really love the details on this frame. I thought it was super unique and so beautiful. Also, I picked up this pack of 4 terracotta planters. So now I am just gonna go ahead and paint this top area with some white chalk paint. And then I come back with another brush and some black paint and then brush on the sides to refresh the color. And while the paint is dry, my husband already cut these stems for me and here I have them separately. Now I am gonna place them on the frame to see how I am gonna arrange them. Then I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue them down. Next, I am taking 3 of these terracotta planters and I am gonna add a piece of floral foam inside each of them. Then I am gonna add some succulents that I had on hand and some green moss. Then I put them inside these candle holders. Lastly, I decided to add some Dollar Tree ribbon, so I just made a simple bow and hot glued right here to cover the ends of these wire stems. And there, this project is done. It came out absolutely gorgeous. Now moving to the next project is super simple. I picked up this cute little stand sign from Goodwill and I only paid $1 for it. So I didn't change much here because I really loved it as is. So I thought to paint the middle in white chalk paint. Then I decided to paint this part black, so I took some painter tape and I covered the black and white print because I am keeping this print as is. Then I paint this area with some acrylic black paint. Also, I painted the rest of the black areas just to refresh the color a bit. And while I let that dry, I went ahead and printed this Wi-Fi sweet Wi-Fi sign. Then I used some school glue and I just add some on this white area here. Then I stick this sign on top and I smooth it with my fingers to get rid of any bubbles. And once that was dry, I used this little chalkboard sign that I saved from another project and I hot glue it right here. And that's it for this one. I only need to write our home Wi-Fi on here to keep it in our guest room or to keep it in my hair studio. Next DIY, I saved these paper towel and paper toilet rolls. I am gonna go ahead and press on them like this, and I will cut them roughly about 1/4 inch. And when I am done cutting them, I will take them outside in the garage to spray paint them with this Rust-Oleum black spray paint. I wish I spray painted the rolls before cutting them. It would have been easier to cover well the entire roll. So if you try doing this, I definitely encourage you to spray paint them before you cut them. Now that they are dry, I have this round mirror that I got from Dollar Tree long time ago. And I will add some hot glue to the end of each loop and glue it on the frame of this mirror. And when I finish the first round, I will go ahead and make another line, but this time I am gluing each loop in between 2 loops from the first line, and I will continue doing that until I finish the second line as well. Feel free to add third line or fourth line depending on how big you want this mirror to be. I absolutely love how pretty mine turned out. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? For this cute planter, I am using 4 of these tiny pots that I got from Dollar Tree from St. Patrick's Day. They come in a pack of 5, but I will only use 4. I used some greenery, some floral foam, some jute twine, and some paint. I will leave all the materials that I am using for today's projects down in the description box below. First thing, I am taking these pots outside and spray paint them with this Rust-Oleum white spray paint. But first, I am gonna remove these handles. And once the paint is dry, I am gonna go ahead and paint them in different shades of neutral and rustic colors. I'm gonna play with the colors, just mix together whatever I think would turn out. And I already painted one in this cinnamon color, which I mixed a little bit of red, yellow, and brown. Now for the next one, I am mixing a little bit of green, cashmere tan, and some brown to get the khaki color. I will do 2 coats on each using hairdryer in between to speed the drying process. I will continue with the rest doing same thing. I will just keep adding to the paint. I won't even change my brush because it really doesn't matter. The colors that I want are neutral tones, so I will just be mixing whatever I think it will look good. So here how all 4 look like. I really love how the colors turned out. Next, it's time to add some jute twine around the neck of the pots. And once I am done with that, I insert some floral foam inside each pot. Then I add some greenery and some succulents. After that, I gather all the twine together and secure them with some hot glue, and here is the finished look. I absolutely love how it turned out. Next project is also super simple. I am using 2 of these Dollar Tree wood fences, these 2 tiny mason jars from Dollar Tree as well, some Dollar Tree greenery, and some paint. So to paint these, I am using some acrylic brown, mix it with some water. And once they are dry, I am gonna take these jars and wrap some jute twine around the neck of each of them. And once I am done with that, I cut some greenery and bunch them together. Then I add them inside each jar. Lastly, I hang them on the fence, and I really love how cute they came out.